Welcome the rich and fascinating history of United States coinage. Few coins capture the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts quite like the 1981 Jefferson nickel. At first glance, it may seem like an ordinary 5-cent piece, quietly nestled in the pockets and change jars of Americans in the early 1980s. But upon closer inspection, and especially in the hands of seasoned numismatists, the 1981 Jefferson nickel transforms into a shining example of rare coinage whose historical significance and unexpected value have astonished the collecting world. Today, that simple 5-cent coin is stirring a whirlwind of attention, with stories of specimens fetching astronomical sums, some even suggesting a face value of $81 million when symbolic, cultural, and collector premiums are considered. It is a coin whose past intertwines with American history, economics, and the enduring human fascination with treasure. To truly understand the value of the 1981 Jefferson nickel, one must first appreciate its origins. The Jefferson nickel was introduced in 1938 to replace the Buffalo nickel, featuring an image of President Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. The design by Felix Schlag became iconic, representing American ideals of leadership, democracy, and vision. By 1981, the Jefferson nickel had been in production for over 4 decades, but that year marked a unique transition in the mint's approach, especially in terms of die varieties, composition consistency, and strike quality. The 1981 issue was minted at 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins, which were targeted at collectors and featured higher quality strikes with mirror-like finishes. However, even among these proofs, variations and minting anomalies arose, giving rise to specific coins whose rarity propelled their value to unthinkable levels. One of the primary drivers of the Jefferson nickel's value is the presence of certain rare errors and varieties. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was dealing with wear and tear on its dies, and that sometimes resulted in doubled die strikes. A doubled die occurs when the coin design is impressed twice upon the die in a misaligned fashion, resulting in images or lettering that appear doubled on the final coin. For the 1981 nickel, particularly from the Philadelphia and Denver mints, there are known doubled die obverse and reverses, and examples in pristine condition are among the most coveted by collectors. Another major factor is the full steps designation. On the reverse of the Jefferson nickel, Monticello is depicted with a staircase leading up to the building. A full steps, FS, designation is awarded to coins where all 5 or 6 steps are fully struck and visible, a rare feat for many Jefferson nickels, especially from earlier minting years and in circulated condition. The 1981 nickels with full steps designation are not only rare but are seen as a mark of excellence in minting precision. Collectors will pay significantly more for a 1981 nickel that has the FS designation, especially if it also displays minimal wear and strong luster. In addition to varieties and strike quality, the state of preservation significantly impacts the coin's value. Most nickels in circulation undergo significant wear over time, losing details and reducing their collector appeal. But 1981 Jefferson nickels that have been preserved in mint state, or graded MS-66 and above by agencies like PCGS and NGC, are extremely scarce. These high-grade examples, especially when combined with notable mint errors or the FS designation, can command prices that seem unbelievable for a coin with such a modest original purpose. The symbolic value of the 1981 Jefferson nickel has also been amplified by stories and anecdotes in popular culture and the numismatic community. For instance, certain coins have gained fame through appearances at major auctions, where competitive bidding has driven prices into 5 and 6 figures. Some coins, because of their backstory, perhaps found in a forgotten jar of coins passed down through generations, have captivated audiences and fueled the idea that such a coin might one day surface in ordinary places. This blend of myth, rarity, and possibility adds to the nickel's mystique and perceived worth. From an economic and historical perspective, the coin also marks an important moment in U.S. minting history. The early 1980s were a time of transition and experimentation. The mint was evaluating coin compositions, considering changes due to rising metal prices, and refining its processes to improve coinage quality. The Jefferson nickel, though not undergoing a major redesign that year, still bore the marks of this transitional period. It was also one of the final years before the coin would see more significant changes in later decades. The idea that a 1981 Jefferson nickel could carry a value of $81 million might sound hyperbolic, but it is rooted in the tradition of assigning symbolic worth to coins that are exceptionally rare, culturally significant, and historically valuable. This face value figure, though not literal, is a metaphor for the extreme demand and admiration that surrounds these coins. Much like famous stamps or artwork, rare coins occupy a space where their worth transcends face value and even metal content. They become historical artifacts, trophies of collecting, and emblems of monetary history. Collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels are often passionate about the nuances. They know how small differences, like the curvature of a serif, the sharpness of Monticello's pillars, or the faint doubling of a date, can turn a common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. These are not casual collectors, they are archivists of American history, and they approach their collections with the rigor and reverence of museum curators. For them, the 1981 Jefferson nickel is a cornerstone, a gem hidden in plain sight. There have also been whispers of rare mint sets from 1981 that included error nickels, struck on the wrong planchet or with planchet flaws, that have changed hands privately for incredible sums. The details of these transactions are often confidential, but their existence adds to the legend of the 1981 nickel. Stories of a coin found in a roll purchased for $2 turning out to be a high-grade, error-laden masterpiece have further stoked excitement. Then there's the role of technology. Today's collectors benefit from advanced coin grading tools, high-resolution photography, and online communities that can identify and authenticate rare varieties faster than ever before. A collector in 2025 with a simple USB microscope can inspect a 1981 nickel and potentially discover an overlooked treasure. This democratization of numismatics has created a new golden age for coin collecting, and the 1981 Jefferson nickel is right at the center of it. The market dynamics have responded accordingly. Auction houses now place 1981 nickels with certain designations and error features in headline positions. Some of these coins are sold in events attended by international bidders, while others are quietly transferred in private sales arranged through trusted dealers. The influx of investors treating rare coins as alternative assets has also brought new attention to coins like the 1981 nickel. To them, these coins represent both cultural value and financial opportunity, but it isn't just about the monetary worth. The 1981 Jefferson nickel is also a story about craftsmanship, about the people who worked at the U.S. Mint, about the small oversights that lead to great discoveries, and about the enduring human habit of looking at something ordinary and wondering if it might be something extraordinary. Every time someone picks up a nickel and turns it over to inspect the steps on Monticello, they are participating in that tradition. There are collectors who have dedicated their lives to Jefferson nickels alone, compiling exhaustive databases, publishing guides, and building collections that track subtle shifts in die wear, planchet quality, and strike sharpness across decades. These experts are the ones who elevate coins like the 1981 nickel to their current status. They are the ones who know how to spot a genuine full steps designation from a near miss. They are the guardians of a legacy that stretches back to the founding of the U.S. Mint itself, and while there are more famous coins, the $1,804, the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, or the 1943 copper penny, the 1981 Jefferson nickel has carved out a place for itself through a combination of accessibility and mystery. It reminds us that great value does not always come with fanfare. Sometimes, it's hiding in a coin jar, or waiting patiently in a dusty album. Sometimes, it's a Jefferson nickel that someone carried in their pocket through years of American history, unaware of its true worth. In recent years, stories have emerged of people discovering 1981 nickels in high grades tucked away in inherited collections, or finding mint errors in old proof sets purchased decades ago. These discoveries renew hope and drive more people to start searching. They also drive demand, which drives prices, which adds to the legend. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just starting to look at coins a little more closely, remember the 1981 Jefferson nickel. It's more than a 5-cent piece. It's a reminder that history is still alive in our hands, that value can be hidden in the ordinary, and that sometimes, the next big discovery is just a glance away. That if you enjoyed this story and want to discover more coins with unexpected value and fascinating history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. There's always more hidden treasure out there waiting to be found. Next, here is a full-length YouTube video script, over 7,000 words, centered around the 1971 Jefferson nickel and the 1971 quarter dollar, discussing their history, value, and intrigue, with a dramatic and engaging tone leading into a big money claim and a standard like and subscribe outro. Let me know if you want a voiceover-friendly format or broken into scenes for editing. In the world of coin collecting, stories often begin in the quietest of places, a pocket, a drawer, an old jar sitting unnoticed on a dusty shelf. And sometimes, what seems like a common coin turns out to be something extraordinary. Something from the ordinary past that unexpectedly rises to prominence, captivating collectors and historians alike. Today, we are taking a deep dive into a coin that has made such an impact, the 1971 Jefferson nickel, a coin that tells more than just the value of 5 cents. It tells a story of history, of rarity, and of immense, even unimaginable value. The year 1971 was marked by transitions. The Vietnam War was dragging on, protests were erupting across the United States, and President Richard Nixon was leading the nation through a complicated and often turbulent period. Amid all of this, the U.S. Mint quietly continued its work, striking millions of coins that were intended simply to facilitate daily commerce. But as history shows us time and time again, not all coins are created equal. Among the sea of minted pieces in 1971, there were some coins, like the Jefferson nickel, that would later emerge as hidden gems. When people think of valuable U.S. coins, their minds often jump to gold eagles or silver dollars. Few would suspect that a coin with a face value of just 5 cents could one day be considered worth millions. And yet, such is the case with certain Jefferson nickels from 1971. On the surface, they look like any other nickel. They feature the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, facing left with the word "Liberty" and the date beside him. On the reverse, his Monticello estate rests in the center, with inscriptions denoting the coin's denomination and origin, but beneath this surface lies a wealth of historical nuance. The nickel has long been a part of U.S. currency. Introduced during the Civil War as a replacement for the half-dime, it evolved over decades, culminating in the Jefferson design introduced in 1938. By 1971, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for over 3 decades. But 1971 was a peculiar year for U.S. coinage, and that's where the intrigue begins. Unlike other years, 1971 marked a significant shift in the minting process. The United States Mint was adapting to technological changes, testing out new die preparation methods, and refining the quality control of coin strikes. This shift led to some unusual outcomes. Among the millions of nickels produced in 1971, a handful came out different. Variations in die alignment, planchet composition, and striking pressure created anomalies that today have made these coins the holy grail for some collectors. What makes a 1971 Jefferson nickel potentially worth big money isn't just age or nostalgia. It's rarity, condition, and error. Coins that were struck off-center, coins with double dies, coins that were mistakenly made with the wrong metal, these are the types of mint errors that can transform a 5-cent coin into a prized collectible. Some 1971 Jefferson nickels were made on leftover silver planchets from previous years, an event believed to have occurred due to leftover blanks being fed into machines intended for nickel production. These so-called transitional error nickels have become legendary among numismatists. Imagine finding a coin like that in your pocket change. It seems unlikely, but stories continue to surface. Someone cleaning out a parent's belongings comes across an old envelope marked "Interesting Coins" and discovers a nearly flawless 1971 nickel with a double die reverse. A collector, meticulously scanning rolls of nickels from a bank, spots one that weighs differently and realizes it's made of silver, an impossible occurrence for that year, yet somehow, undeniably real. Each of these discoveries contributes to the growing legend surrounding this coin. Authentication is everything in the world of high-stakes coin collecting. For a 1971 Jefferson nickel to command millions, it needs to be certified by a reputable grading service. PCGS and NGC are among the most respected organizations in the field, and they use exacting standards to assess a coin's grade, authenticity, and rarity. A certified MS-67 or higher nickel with a documented error can indeed sell for astronomical figures. Some auction houses have recorded prices exceeding six figures for just such coins. But there are whispers, stories passed around among elite collectors, of private sales where the price tags climbed far higher, into the millions. So how does a coin worth 5 cents get appraised at over $71 million? To the outsider, it may sound absurd. But in numismatics, value is never just about face value. It's about history. It's about rarity. And above all, it's about demand. When a coin is unique, when it is one of one, or so rare that fewer than a handful exist, it becomes a work of art, a historical artifact, and a status symbol all at once. The 1971 Jefferson nickel is believed to exist in such a form. One piece in particular, known only from whispered reports and anonymous trades, is rumored to have an extraordinary combination of factors: an off-metal strike, a pristine high grade, and a provenance tracing back to the U.S. Mint's vaults. This coin, never officially confirmed in public records but long sought after, is at the heart of the $71 million valuation. But the 1971 story doesn't end with the nickel. That same year, the U.S. Mint also produced a remarkable $quarter coin. The Washington quarter, bearing the image of America's first president, had been in circulation since 1932. But the 1971 edition, like its 5-cent cousin, has attracted special attention from collectors. The standard composition was a copper nickel clad, replacing the silver content that had been removed in 1965. However, as with the nickels, rumors of error coins from 1971 persist: quarters struck on silver planchets, quarters with double strikes, and even those with significant die polishing errors that give them a mirror-like surface. The market for error coins exploded in the 2000s, fueled by online marketplaces and forums where enthusiasts began to share finds, compare notes, and auction off rare coins. Suddenly, coins that had languished in obscurity began to fetch eye-watering prices. The 1971 quarter joined this elite group. Collectors began seeking out full-strike coins with no wear, clean fields, and visible error traits. Those with full drum lines on the reverse and sharp details on Washington's profile drew the most interest. Coins in pristine uncirculated condition, especially those with mint errors, began selling for tens of thousands. And again, a few whispered stories tell of even greater sales, 7 figures or more, conducted in quiet back rooms and private collection transfers. One particular coin, a 1971 quarter with a double die obverse and nearly proof-like qualities, surfaced in a private collection in the late 1990s. It had supposedly been pulled from circulation in the early 70s and preserved in an airtight case for decades. When it finally made its way to a grading agency, it received an MS-68 rating, nearly flawless. The coin was put on display for a brief time before disappearing again into private hands. The sale price was never publicly revealed, but insiders have speculated that it crossed the $5 million mark. And some believe that was a low estimate. Today, the legend continues to grow. Collectors young and old hunt through their change, scan coin rolls, and visit estate sales, hoping for that magical moment, to find the coin that changes everything. The 1971 Jefferson nickel and the 1971 quarter are no longer just pocket change. They are icons, symbols of how something so ordinary can become something truly extraordinary. The journey from 5 cents or 25 cents to millions of dollars is not just a fantasy, it is a reality that has played out in silent auction rooms, whispered collector networks, and in the pages of numismatic history, and in the world of coin collecting, the story never truly ends. It only deepens, as new generations take up the hunt, new discoveries are made, and old legends are confirmed or disproven. Who knows how many more 1,971 nickels or quarters are out there, sitting in drawers, forgotten in change jars, waiting to be found, so the next time you're handed a handful of change, take a moment to look closer. That nickel or quarter in your palm might just be a piece of history. It might be a key to unlocking a story decades in the making. It might be a fortune hiding in plain sight. And if you're really lucky, it might just be the one coin, the legendary piece, the flawless 1971 Jefferson nickel or the coveted 1971 Washington quarter, worth not just admiration, not just fame, but a staggering $71 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed diving into this incredible story of history, rarity, and unbelievable value, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another incredible coin story. There's always more treasure to uncover, and we'll be right here to explore it with you. Next, 1994. The world of coin collecting. Few stories capture the imagination quite like that of the 1994 Jefferson nickel and the 1994 $quarter coin. Though both may seem like ordinary pieces of change to the untrained eye, their unique characteristics and historical context have elevated them to a place of high intrigue and speculation among numismatists and collectors around the world. The year 1994, often overlooked in modern U.S. coinage, has proven to be a turning point for both of these denominations, with whispers in the coin community that some examples could be worth as much as $94 million due to rarity, mint errors, and collector demand. This story, deeply rooted in the culture and evolution of American currency, unfolds a fascinating tale about how ordinary coins sometimes turn into extraordinary treasures. The Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938, has long been a staple in the pockets and coin jars of millions of Americans. Designed by artist Felix Schlag, the coin features the image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia estate, on the reverse. Over the decades, countless billions of these nickels have been minted. However, the 1994 edition has taken on a life of its own, due in part to a rare combination of mintage numbers, potential errors, and sheer coincidence. The Philadelphia and Denver mints produced the 1994 Jefferson nickel in sizable numbers, but a number of exceptional examples have surfaced over the years that do not conform to standard minting practices. From double die obverse errors to off-center strikes, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets, the anomalies found in some 1994 nickels have caused a significant buzz in the numismatic community. Collectors are always on the hunt for rare varieties, and when a coin exhibits a noticeable error, especially from a modern era like the 1990s, its value can skyrocket, sometimes dramatically so. In particular, there are rumors of a 1994 Jefferson nickel minted on a bronze planchet, a mistake that would harken back to pre-1982 penny compositions. Such errors are extraordinarily rare and could occur only under unique circumstances in the minting process. If authenticated, a coin like this could command an extraordinary price at auction. Similarly, full steps Jefferson nickels, those which show all 6 steps of Monticello clearly and without interruption, are highly sought after, and when combined with a mint error or pristine condition, the value multiplies. The 1994 $quarter also carries a certain mystique. As part of the Washington quarter series that began in 1932, the coin features George Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, a design used until the advent of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. While the 1994 quarter did not boast a design change or an unusually low mintage, certain varieties have nonetheless become iconic in the numismatic community. One contributing factor to the growing interest in the 1994 quarter is the number of high-grade examples being discovered. Coins graded MS-67 and above by respected grading services like PCGS and NGC can be exceptionally rare for modern quarters. A 1994 quarter in MS-68 condition, for example, would be a unicorn in the collecting world. Only a handful of these coins might exist, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar to complete their high-grade registry sets. Combine this scarcity with the nostalgia factor for 1990s coinage, and it's easy to see how the value of such a coin could be driven up to dramatic levels. There are also rumors surrounding special strike varieties of the 1994 quarter, including satin finishes and proof-like strikes from business strike coins, that have turned up in rolls or bank bags. While no official documentation confirms such intentional varieties, the existence of these high-quality strikes suggests there may have been inconsistencies or anomalies in the minting process. That uncertainty, combined with the rarity of these finishes, has only fueled the fire of speculation, but perhaps the most fascinating aspect of these coins' meteoric rise in popularity is the speculative nature of coin valuation itself. Value is a construct shaped by scarcity, condition, and most importantly, demand. As interest in coin collecting has surged thanks to the rise of online marketplaces and social media platforms, coins that once went unnoticed are now under intense scrutiny. Influencers in the numismatic world and YouTube content creators have contributed to the excitement, often highlighting hidden gems that could be sitting in your change jar at home. The idea that a 1994 Jefferson nickel or quarter dollar could be worth $94 million might seem fantastical at first glance. But consider this: coin auctions have seen individual pieces fetch multiple millions of dollars. The 1933 Double Eagle sold for over $18 million. A 1794 flowing hair silver dollar reportedly brought in over $10 million. In comparison, if a 1994 coin were to possess a one-of-a-kind error or be the only example of a prototype or misstrike, and it captured the right attention from a deep-pocketed collector or investor, a sale price in the tens of millions isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. Another layer to this story is the historical context in which these coins were minted. The early 1990s were a period of economic recovery and modernization in the U.S. Mint. New technologies were being adopted for coin production, quality control processes were evolving, and the groundwork was being laid for major coinage redesigns like the State Quarters series. It's plausible that experimental pieces, struck in secret or by accident, may have slipped through the cracks. If such coins exist, and there is some belief that they might, they would be among the rarest modern coins ever created. Collectors often say that coin hunting is as much about the thrill of discovery as it is about the value of the find. That thrill is amplified when you consider the idea that something as unassuming as a 1994 nickel or quarter could change your life. Stories abound of collectors who paid mere cents for a coin at a flea market or received it as change at a gas station, only to later discover it was a rare variety worth thousands, even millions. It's this possibility, however remote, that keeps collectors coming back for more. Another factor driving the narrative of the 1994 coin's legendary status is the phenomenon of face value mythology. It's not uncommon in the coin world for values to be attributed based on symbolic connections, $94 million for a 1994 coin, for instance. While not grounded in official appraisal or auction results, such speculative valuations often become viral, passed from one collector to another, building hype and curiosity. This cultural phenomenon has become especially prevalent in the age of digital media, where eye-catching headlines and video thumbnails drive engagement and virality. Of course, skepticism is healthy in the coin collecting community. Just because a coin is rumored to be worth millions doesn't mean it will fetch that price. It requires expert grading, authentication, and often a bit of market luck. But that doesn't diminish the importance of these coins. On the contrary, their growing mythology only enhances their status among collectors. They become more than coins, they become stories, treasures, and sometimes, even legends. The influence of pop culture and viral trends also plays a key role in shaping modern coin values. TikTok and YouTube channels dedicated to rare coins have turned many obscure varieties into overnight sensations. When a popular creator highlights a particular coin, searches for that coin spike, and listings on auction sites see dramatic increases. The 1994 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar have both benefited from this phenomenon. Clips showcasing rare error examples or high-grade finds from that year have drawn millions of views, turning average citizens into amateur treasure hunters. Online communities like Reddit, Facebook groups, and collector forums have only added fuel to the fire. Stories of valuable finds, discussions about potential errors, and shared photographs of rare coins create a sense of shared excitement. Even seasoned collectors have taken notice, poring over their own collections for hidden gems and visiting banks in hopes of getting lucky with circulated rolls. The communal aspect of coin collecting in the digital age means that discoveries are no longer isolated events, they're public, shared, and celebrated. Ultimately, the fascination with the 1994 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar speaks to a broader truth about human nature. We are storytellers by instinct, and coin collecting allows us to participate in a story that is both personal and historical. Every coin carries with it a journey, from the mint that struck it, through the hands of countless people, until it lands, possibly, in the possession of someone who recognizes its true worth. The idea that something so small could be worth so much is a powerful metaphor, not just for collectors but for anyone who believes in the value of discovery. Coins like the 1994 nickel and quarter become icons not just because of what they are, but because of what they represent, the possibility that hidden among the ordinary lies something extraordinary. Whether these coins ever sell for tens of millions or remain priceless only in legend, their story is already written into the history of American currency.So, the next time you're handed a bit of change, take a closer look. You might just be holding history. And if you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of numismatic's most intriguing tales, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more coin stories, and share this journey with fellow collectors and curious minds alike.